up to here. And to see it this morning in the John Deere and in it bending and then flipping up behind the tractor again, that was.
But
I mean, it was only a still, but it was.
Yeah, but also how it like we
and
got
how it
shown
does it.
how it actually works in GE as well, which
Yeah.
is really interesting. So
It's it's it is a. I think I actually looking at what I've seen with FS19, I think it is a bigger improvement over FS17 than 17 was over 15. And I remember thinking when I got 17 that it was a massive leap forward.
I think 19 is the biggest leap we had in between games. I mean, I started with 13, so there might be huge leaps from 9 to something, 9 to 11 or something. I haven't seen them, so I might be wrong.
Yeah.
But I think 13 to 15 was nice. 15 to 17 was definitely nice. 17 to 19 is insane.
Yeah.
Right? This farm like never before. Everyone is like, yeah, of course. That's definitely a thing now.
Yeah. it really does live up to that tagline.
I'm kind of happy because you remember the Discord things we had going when I said I'm not too, I love John Deere, it's nice that it's in there, but it's not my favorite feature. Everyone started hyping Lizardtan's favorite feature for the last 4 months. I was so nervous when yesterday when we announced it, I was like, please love it, because everyone was just like, this has to be the best feature in the universe. Lizardtan is just hyping, and it's like, I just said I didn't like John Deere as much as this feature.
So actually, go back. So what was, because you were saying, oh, I love this feature. What was the feature that is your favorite?
It was the placeable farms
It is
together with the competitive multiplayer, because this to me is one big feature, right? I can play with my friends now, but not only can I play with my friends, I don't have to use a map where everything is set up. I can just build my own stuff. And this to me changes the entire way of how I play the game. And for my friends it changes everything, basically, just everything. And that was the biggest feature. I didn't mean to hype it as much as it happened. It was because of some guys, thanks Rob by the way, I think he started it in Discord. Just taking my sentence where just only thing I really said 4 months ago or 3 months ago was like, oh, it's not as big as John Deere to me. And they just freaked out about it.
But in all honesty, I think it is. I think it is a bigger thing than having John Deere in. John Deere is awesome. I think John Deere, I said it before, that I think John Deere absolutely guarantees that there'll be a 21 and 23 and beyond, because John Deere is big enough of a brand to do that. But I love the idea that you don't buy fields, you buy farms. And that, again, that to me is another bit of detail that makes it a bit more realistic.
And I love the fact that you have these, well, it used to be the difficulty level, but that's not the difficulty level anymore. You basically pick your start equipment now, right? The harder you go, the less you have. I like that idea.
Farm manager and what was it into?
Because I did try and write down all three, and I missed what the first one was. But the crazy thing is, I have been playing on essentially what is now hard mode for the last few months. So suddenly, my playstyle will change, because I won't be going for the normal mode all the time. I'll be going for the hard mode and starting from there, because that is how I like to play the game.
I think I agree with you with the John Deere thing as well, though, because the multiplayer thing adds gameplay elements, and there's a lot of things that on 19 that adds stuff to do, from the weeds and stuff that we saw. There's much more for you to do, which adds gameplay, whereas John Deere is nice, but if you had John Deere just a plain square, people would get bored. There's so much things to do as well.
Yeah, and I do like that from what we saw of the new map, the new American map yesterday, that there seems to have been a move away from having square fields.
Yeah. And it has bigger fields than we had before, because it's America, it's a huge country.
But it was seeing fields sort of that shape and that shape.
And now you can do whatever you want, right? With the new system, if you don't like the field, if you want a circle field, well, go for it. Create one. It's on you if you like circles. Who should stop you? I for sure won't. I stick to square fields.
The trouble in the UK, there is no such thing.
I know. I lived in the UK for 18 months.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I lived in Brighton.
Oh, wow.
When I was working for NC Soft, and it was Iron. I used to live in Brighton. It was amazing. I love Brighton.
Yeah, no, Brighton's lovely. I've been there a few times.
Party town. And I went to Ireland. That was better.
They definitely don't have a square field tonight.
I was going to say, Dave will be happy to hear that, and so will Chris.
But yeah,
Ah.
lots of good things added to 19 that I'm excited for. Like you said, it's the small things as well for me. Like we were obviously watching the presentation, and when the lights came on the actual dash controls, I was like, yeah. I like playing when I'm not playing for YouTube, I'm playing for myself. I like, for some reason, doing stuff at night time with the work lights on and stuff. I find it quite relaxing. So now you've got the immersion of the lights, and I use head tracking as well, which was added in 17. So
It's also the movable pedals.
yeah.
And a lot of these things are because of the community. I mean, I don't know if you guys have seen my presentation yesterday, but the guys out there definitely haven't. So I can just bring this up again. A lot of these things that we do now is because the community gave us the feedback, and they said, you know, we want interior lights, we want foliage bending. Where they didn't say we want foliage bending, what they said was we don't want plants to clip into the tractor and stuff like that. So community feedback is important, right? A lot of things that are in the game now that will come up with 19 is just because the players wanted it. Because when we started thinking about 19, that was pretty much when I started working in the company, they asked me to make a list. So the developers came to me and was like, we need a priority list from community. So I gathered all the information, gave them a huge list with all the features from, you know, John Deere, dynamic terrain, all these things, down to stop the rain from going through roofs and all these things. It was all on that list.
I was going to say, can you clear something else? Because I think we had a bad translation yesterday during the FS19 presentation. Does the rain come through the roofs?
Right now it does.
Yeah.
But what they said, and that's what it is about, is we are going to fix this before FS19 is out. We are 90% done. The problem is, once we got it, you know, stopped from raining through it, we decided that we can move around buildings. It just got worse from there. So we are 90% there, but it's definitely the plan to have that fixed by the time 19 launches. Because we know players hate the fact. And the best thing is we had windscreen wipers at one point. I don't know if they're still in. We experimented with it, tried to have that, you know, going.
Yeah.
It was hilarious because they were on, but it was still raining into your tractor. You were like, the hell is that for? That doesn't make any sense. So I don't know if they're still in. Because in the end we would have to animate them for all the tractors, so they might not have made it into the final version. But it was definitely one of the most hilarious things. Apart from, I've seen flying pigs. One of my favorite stories is when we had the birds, we didn't have the textures and the animations, but we wanted to test the system that, you know, if you seed something, that they land and stuff. So one of our art designers was like, let's just replace them with the pig artwork we have. So we put in pigs there, and you had the pigs flying, landing. You turn around, they were just flying away. We're like, we should change that. This is creepy. Can we just stop that?
When 19 gets released, we're switching that right
And
back to pigs.
suddenly, John Deere in the game.
It's a good idea for a mod.
John Deere in the game is explained because pigs.
The plow.
Oh yeah, right. They use the plow and they just speed it up like 500 times to show that. It looks amazing on tractors now because we do have the new system where you can see what metal it is. You know, if it's chrome or plastic or anything, and it looks so good. If these tractors just get older and you can tell that they get older, it's really.
But it also gives the workshop another use as well, now, doesn't it? When you have to compare them, as opposed to just changing your wheels.
You better do, because these things really mess up. If you don't maintain them at a specific level, you know, they use more petrol, they get slower, they lose power. It's really bad to just let them rot. So you better bring them back. Oh, we have a
Team Farmer.
Team Farmer.
That's a creative name. How did you come up with that one?
I
think they're his
approve
minions.
of that name, to be honest.
Oh, you like it, yeah.
I like that name.
So they're allowed to cross
They
the
are
line
not
now?
very virtual.
No. Well, they are.
As soon as they cross the checkered line, they will.
They're off.
Started. 2 balers and the Manitou. Everyone seems to like the Manitou.
Everyone seems
Everyone.
like the Manitou.
Everyone seems like the
And today we have only.
Oh, forgot to turn the baler on. It's the second time we've seen that today.
Yeah, we still
And
forgot
again.
to turn the baler on. Oh yeah, but we haven't dropped the pickup down. Is what it is.
I'm a bit offended. My favourite telehandler in FS17 is the JC. Oh, both
Oh,
balers have
both.
been turned on.
This is not a strong start.
Well, the Valtra has been turned on now, so there's one.
So my favourite telehandler is the JCB, but people don't seem to like it. during this challenge?
To be perfectly honest, I do not get on with chasing.
I mean, you've seen way more games than me, but I think the Manitou and the New Holland are the two favorites. At
Yeah,
least every
yes.
time I'm here,
Yeah,
it's these two.
it's interesting that most people tend to go the two, so the Manitou and the New Holland, and then grab Tractor.
Yeah.
So they don't. Nobody seems to go for the JCB at all.
So, second on the list, Vertex 2, they had the New Holland telehandler out, and they dropped the barrel, but it cost them a little bit of time, but also they were still first, but they were in the New Holland, and the reason they came second is because the New Holland couldn't go fast enough to cross the line in time. So people have been leaving that one out, and we've seen a couple of people switch to the Fendt tractor instead.
What is it? 0.5 seconds?
Yeah, it was
real
0.42
close.
between
That's-
the top two.
that's
It was absolutely.
But that's including
insane.
dropping a bale and picking it back up,
Yeah.
and then they had to wait for the New Holland to cross the line, which the Manitou just flew past.
Yeah, Martin was saying is that it's possible to do this in under 3 minutes, which is.
So during the test runs, Creative Mesh, I think they're like 7th now or something.
Yes, they had such.
Tenth
a
now.
They were at 2 minutes 56. That was their best time during their test runs.
Wow.
And the same for, I don't know what Vertex design team that is, because they have 3.
Yes.
But one of them is at 2:56 as well.
Yeah,
But I think it was the one that is now in first place. So I think they were the fastest, but I'm not 100% sure. We
It
still
was-
have one Vertex design team to go.
So we have had 2 teams then who've done sub 3 minutes.
so 3 bales on the trailer right now,
That's-
2 minutes on the clock.
But then again, if you get the time, just talk to these guys. They have
Yeah.
printed out ways where they're like, okay, we have to go that way. You know, in
We-
second 30, you have to be at that exact spot, and then it's completely-
Creative Mesh were unlucky in that they ended up
Hitting the trailer.
knocking the trailer, and it just knocked the load off. And at that point,
Well, they told me they will go full risk to make sure that they get first. And they were like, we either make it below 3 minutes or we won't make it into the top 10. It's like, well, that's fair enough, you know. If you go full risk, why not?
yeah,
They're in the top 10 at the moment.
They are.
They are 10th at the moment.
And there's still a Vertex team coming, so they're probably
Yeah,
out
so
of
they're
top 10.
probably gonna
So it was
top
quite accurate.
yeah.
So for the people watching online, this is actually your baby this game, the championship.
It's pretty much because I love esports. And
So we had an idea earlier, but before we were live, an
Yeah.
extreme version where the 2 best teams could try and do it with the trailer on a spline going around.
Trying to
Try and put
pick
your bales
the
on
point
that.
to put the
I
bales
thought the extreme version is the 2 best teams play against each other at the
other.
same time with 2 trailers on the thing. And then
That's
you
not a
just
bad
have to
idea.
fight for every bale and see where you end.
That's actually a good one. Get
That
those
is
to move as well.
But actually, that's the
That would be
interesting
complete
about.
chaos there.
That's the interesting thing about FS19, because FS19 with its competitive element.
We will probably come up with a new game for
Yeah.
19. Not sure, but as you can imagine, 17 is pretty much over now when it comes to FSC, because there's one more event
Yeah.
before or around the launch. I'm not sure, but there's one more event. I know that this year, and then we are already with FS19, and we might come up with a new game. Maybe it's sales taking again. Maybe we come up with something else. We are currently brainstorming ideas. There are a couple of really crazy ones that we better not talk about. And a couple of really good ones, and in the end we will find something to make this a little bit more interesting, because that might not be the last time we hear you 2 guys commenting. Who knows?
Oh, that would be, well, I would be very honoured. I am very honoured to be here, to be honest. I'd like to thank you guys very much for inviting me.
It's nice that you guys are here, even if you forget that we have a party in hotel and then just go
It
to
was
sleep,
bad.
because that happened.
Oh,
Dear stream,
I was so middle-aged last night.
Story
I went
time.
to bed.
these 2 guys just disappeared yesterday evening when the whole Giants team and a couple of players actually met in the hotel lobby to have a couple of drinks and just talk about the game. These 2 went to bed.
There's going to be so many mad people watching this now.
They
saying,
are,
you had the
they're
chance
out."
to drink with giants, and you went to bed.
It's so sad.
It is.
Next time we invite the Irish, they will drink.
I said I wouldn't make that mistake again.
It's actually so for future FarmCons, we do that every day, every Saturday, basically, because I mean we're in the hotel anyway. We need to eat something, we want to drink something, and what we usually do is we just build a giant circle. Everyone who comes around, it looks like he's a farming simulator player. We just invite him into the circle. Last year we made it up to like 80 people in the giant
Wow.
circle, I think. This year it was like 15 or something. It was tiny. But we had the after show party here. That was 5.
Which was great fun.
That's another thing. I don't know any other game developing companies that interact with fans in terms of going to a bar and stuff, which is why Giants is so amazing.
Well, FarmCon, because I'm a veteran convention. I've done huge numbers of sci-fi cons in the UK, and it really does feel very much like one of the more personable ones of those. So one of the weekend cons where you all stay in a hotel and then the whole convention is in that, and it's felt very much like that as well.
And I think it is.
It is very much.
It used to be even more personal when we were 300 people. With 1,000 people, it's hard to do.
Yeah.
That's why we spread up. I think you know that. The Swiss team was a different hotel, so that we could reach as many players as possible. So the guys who were in Regensburg, I think they went to dinner as well yesterday with a couple of mod teams, and whoever was around, same system. Just whoever's around gets picked up. And we did that. The Erlangen team, the German team, did that in where are we again? Roding.
Roding, yeah. It's been very surreal hanging around with the Giants lot though, because we've not even been talking about farm sim half the time.
No.
It's just been normal chatting going on. So we've been hanging around with Racking quite a lot, haven't we?
A surreal moment yesterday afternoon. I was explaining how the roadworks on the M25 never ceased or never stopped. They're always going round doing them, which was just, not a subject I ever thought I'd be discussing.
First thing Martin said to us when we got into the van was, "How's the weather in England?"
I heard it's really warm though.
It has been, yeah.
9 weeks I think it's at now with no rain. So it started raining yesterday and he came in, we were here. I went, "No, I'm just going to stand here for a little bit. I miss it."
We have 16 bales on the trailer with 7 minutes,
Under
over
a minute
7 minutes
left.
gone. I think this is likely to be
Dropout.
a number of bales finish rather than a timer finish.
Is there actually an English term for that? For not really finishing?
Not finishing.
Not really, we just use a DNF usually, which means did not finish.
Did not finish, tends to be.
Instead of the score, it's a DNF. But we've had people score on the table by bales alone.
Because we know it's hard. I mean, have you guys tried this? It's insanely hard.
We were going to give it a go until I think it wasn't even the 342. I think it was like the 431. When that got posted, we were like,
no, especially when we went, there's only 2 of us. we're not going to post anywhere near.
Well, we have a lot of Giants crew here that will join you guys, and you can try. It's really hard.
We have about 12 bales on the train now. 8 minutes. Oh, the time's finished.
Yeah, we are over 8 minutes. We
happens.
have 12 bales.
See what,
maybe 13. I think that last one may have come on just before they stopped.
See what the final score was then. We're
there we go.
13 bales,
bales,
which puts them in 26. I changed it. It says 33.
It's just meant to calculate it.
26. So 13 bales. Well done to Team Farmer there. So after that we've got Unimog, which is should be next. Actually.
Should be next at 2:15. So yeah.
Well, it seemed to have fun though.
Yes. One of the nice things about this is that even those who haven't managed to get to 20 bales on time all seem to have enjoyed themselves. Nobody seems to get overly stressed about it.
People have fun, and that's a good thing. Especially because we have all these thousands of players out there watching you, so there can be a little pressure.
Once again, that was Team Farmer.
But yeah, no, they just have fun, and that's good. That's good.
We were saying earlier, we can't believe how much, we said this to Martin, we can't believe how much it's changed, because when we sat down at 12 o'clock yesterday, the fastest time was 5 minutes 13. The first thing I said is, that's going to be hard to beat. An hour and 3 minutes 42.
Just, yeah.
We have been wondering who is Giant Software, who the 3 players were for them.
It was Kenneth from QA, it was a QA team.
Oh,
it was Matt Max from the forums, Chris Wachter. It was der Schreiner, Stefan Bongartz, and Kenneth, that's X, Lefian X, the guy people usually ask for mods in Discord. These 3 were they didn't know they will be the team before we told them Saturday morning. So
wow.
It was hilarious because we always had the plan to have a Giants team opening this game, just to show it off, and we were like, so we can't send the best guys we have because we don't want to. We can't send people like me because we want to end up with less than 8 minutes basically and the DNF. So we're like, let's take QA, they are great. And they were like, you guys are driving at 10:30. We're like, what do you mean driving? Right? Well, you're opening the game. We're like, are you serious? Yeah, that's what's going to happen. And they had one try to do it before. They never played before as a team. It was chaos.
What's up, guys? So
They were set up
we're just
for
doing a live stream here,
4 hours.
and I also have the FarmCon live stream playing in the background because they're kind of doing a little bit of info here on
These guys are playing the game all day. Right?
Yeah.
That's what they do.
on
They, try to
FS19 and
break
things
the
like
game. They're
that.
the only ones in the company who actually try to break the game instead of fixing the game, which is a very interesting department, I think, because they really try their best to just destroy everything they can see.
I know a couple of people who'd be really good in that team.
Me included. There you go, break this. Thank you.
I was very much thinking GD.
It's the way to find bugs, right? You try to break as many things as possible and go to the developers and go like, shit's broken, yo.
Yeah.
And then they have to come up with a solution for that. And yeah, I hope that this would show in 19 as well, because I think it's the first release with a full QA team in place. 17 didn't have one, and I know there were a couple of bugs when 17 came out. I think the first thing that these guys released was Big Bud. That was the first DLC where we had the QA team. And Big Bud came out kind of okayish. There weren't too many bugs. And then from there on we had this QA team just getting rolling. And now with 19 they're testing a lot of things. So I'm hopeful that there's a good game.
How early do you push the game out for testing, or do you do it as it's being produced?
The first time I've seen it for testing, there was nothing on there. Just one tractor. It was a Fend by the time, because we didn't have anything ready. There was no John Deere, there was no Ideal or anything. It was just I think a 700 Fend. The map was basically just white plain fields. There was nothing. All the houses were just white circles, but we already had a couple of things in there, like the lightning and stuff. Lighting, not lightning.
I was going to say, that's
I'm
something-
German, guys. Don't forget that. I'm not native. I do this. This was an honest,
not
honest,
lightning.
yeah, thank you. Honest mistake here from a German. And they started testing right away, because the way that works is our QA team works on the development server. So they might actually test a different version of the game 5 times a day, because the developers are just uploading things, and then they can just get a message going, just refresh basically, just re-download the game, and they do, and then they get a new version. So they start really early, so that they can find even the tiniest bugs. And now that we can see, actually, it's hilarious, because they have all these videos, like I told you, the flying pigs and all these things. They recorded this, right? They were like, oh, this is a bug, there are pigs flying. And I was like, yeah, we know, because no one told us that they just replaced the textures. And we have all these videos, and I hope that my bosses will allow me to do a blooper rail once the game is out, because there are so many great QA videos from these guys. It would be hilarious, but I'm not sure we can do that, because it looks kind of stupid. A couple of things were just so broken when the game started.
It's part of the development process, though, isn't it? Like, I like the way they opened the presentation for FS19 yesterday, and they went, hopefully it doesn't crash.
It did on Thursday.
Did it?
On Thursday we had the final build for FarmCon, because we needed it on Friday, right, to be ready. We came in on Friday. And on Thursday they were like, oh, we got just change a tiny thing. They did. It just completely destroyed the game. It crashed like 5 times in a row, and then we're like, oh, yeah. And then they found the mistake, fixed it, and we're like, okay, let's just hope it doesn't crash. No, it didn't.
It didn't.
But yeah, no, we destroyed it a day before FarmCon. Brilliant idea.
Oh, wow.
So, did you manage to fix that, or did you just take it out for that?
No, they fixed it. It was just a tiny thing. I don't even know what they did. I just, heard the stories of bringing new code, and it crashed the game, and then our developers were just basically searching for the mistake, for the error, found it, fixed it, re-uploaded.
No, knowing programming things like that.
It made us very nervous. As you can imagine, if this breaks on Thursday, people get really nervous.
Yeah.
So, it's a rolling testing basically, so it must be quite annoying when someone, developer's in there, he goes, right, I finished it, and he gets sent back saying, no, he's broken.
It happens. I mean, you know what's more frustrating to me, but I'm not a developer, is if you have a feature, and then you develop the feature, and you put it up, and then you test it, and you go like, that's just not fun, and you remove it. Like, this guy worked for weeks to bring up this feature, and it turns out to be a bad feature, or not a fun feature, and then you have to either remove it, or most of the time we change it, because if a feature comes in, that's usually because we want it. And then we're like, oh, we need to do this completely different. This guy said, really? I spent 4 weeks on that. Yeah, but, redo it. Thanks.
On the ground up, please. Team Unimog has just set off They've took the Manitou out straight away, and
And it is the first time we've seen the single baler.
Yeah.
method
today at least.
Today.
So we've got the single baler out with the New Holland and the Manitou. 32 seconds on the clock on now.
And
Pick up
our
the
first
first
bale
one.
has been collected. Ooh, he's gone. He's using the alternate lines method of farming, which is interesting because I see a few people normally when they're using GPS do that kind of thing. Not obviously not in this,
Oh yeah.
but when they're playing the game, they'll do alternate rows rather than. Oh,
Well, that seems to be just us. Are
and
we
we're
back?
And we're
Hi.
back. Whether we're still online, I don't know.
I'm gonna keep talking like I am.
So I was about to say,
I'm gonna check. You can still hear me, but I'm gonna check if we are still online.
Okay.
I can just continue talking. I love this thing.
Uh,
Hello,
so,
Tech Team. Are we
he is,
still streaming? Tech Team says we are fine. All
excellent?
good.
So yeah, we are still going for the alternate rows method, which is the first time we have seen this.
some rearranging going on as well.
We've
First time
seen
we've seen
this.
this. 1 minute 29 on the clock.
Where's the Manitou got to? Where's he disappeared
Picking
off
up
to?
bales, I believe.
There he is. He has a stack of bales down the far end of the field.
So actually, we asked Martin, what do you think of the Horsch complex, we've been calling it? We don't know the proper name for it.
I love it.
It's really nice to be here. And I was saying to VF earlier as well, you don't actually, in farm sim, realise how big the equipment is. Like when I saw the 6-metre cultivator, which is just down there, I was like, I've been using that thing with like a T4 or T5. Like, what? Maybe not anymore.
We have a new respect for the small equipment in farms.
And then we looked over at the 3-metre cultivator over there. I was like, that's not small either. And that's what you start off with in the game.
Yeah, they're huge. I mean, I lived in a city all my life. I don't know, or I didn't know much about tractors and all these things before I started working for Giants. And when I saw these things for the first time, I was like, the hell? You know? And we had the factory tour on Friday. We got our own tiny little factory tour because we can't do it on Sunday, obviously. And they have even bigger things back there in the halls, and we were just like, this is just completely insane.
Well, we were using Sim because he's about 6 foot tall. To
Yeah, you
measure
use me
up
as a
against the
ruler.
wheels.
Because I saw a contract for the first ever time in real life. I was like, oh, I love it. Because ever since I played FS13, I've wanted to see one of these things in real life. And he's been using me as a ruler, saying, well, you're 6'1", and that track's bigger than you. So we're looking 6'3", just for the traction.
Well, it works.
And the thing that we couldn't get past in the first day was the overwhelm. And then just
But you could see that from down the street, the old
Yeah.
one. There is, I've got a couple of pictures of that.
Yeah.
Makes me really wonder how big that is, or
Yeah,
the
yeah.
tools that thing is pulling.
It's
No,
just-
I would really love to see some.
or the big challenger in game as well, because that's fantastic.
I forgot about that thing. We've got the Zerion outside as well, which is beautiful.
But the thing is, I grew up on a farm, and the tractors now are twice the size of the ones I grew up with, and have 4 or 5 times the horsepower as well. I remember when I was younger, as our ploughing tractor was our big tractor on the farm, we had a TW25, which Matt it's just awesome model, and I end up using all the time. But that only has 125 horsepower or something like that. It's not a huge amount. It's certainly not more than about 180. And yeah, that is a small tractor by today's standards.
See, I've only driven one tractor my whole life now. It's a New Holland T4, like the one from FarmCon 15, but the 2-wheel drive version, so it was even lower. So you can imagine my reaction when I saw the quad track yesterday. But that's a bit bigger than the one I drive. So we've got 12 bales on the trailer so far, 4 minutes 13 gone on the clock there, and they're picking up another 2. The Manitou is there picking up another 2 as well. Teams have been doing pretty well time-wise.
Yeah.
So again, this is Team Unimog, the second to last team. Next is the big Vertex design,
at 3 o'clock.
and there's going to be quite a big crowd for them, I think. There's a lot of people from Giants that said they're going to come up and watch that.
Yeah. That will probably be with Martin again, because he was like, oh yeah, you have to leave this spot when Vertex plays, because he wants to be here. And as he is my boss, you know, I can't argue.
We are up to. Oh, interesting.
He's already there. He's already going, oh yeah. That's it, Lars.
It's
I'm going to take over.
It's nearly 3 moves.
I just mentioned that you will come back once Vertex starts.
Okay.
Lag. Sound tech team. What did you do?
I need to count to 5 now between you speaking and me.
So we're gonna ask the question, wait 5 seconds, and then
But wouldn't that make it 10-second lag then?
this is true.
What?
That
Well,
would
it
be 10
depends on which
seconds.
way round it's going. It depends if the lag is from you speaking to then me speaking, or the other way round.
What we could do is you just write down the question, and then I count to 5, and then I answer it, and then you ask the question, and then because of the lag, it should be fine. Yeah, I will
Yes.
drop out of the stream then to make it better. You think? Should I drop out? Yeah, I will drop out. Was
Well,
fun, guys. Well, it's very
However-
convincing if my boss says that.
However, you do have to meet him back there in the staff room.
With my bag. Packed.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for
Thank
joining
you,
us
it
once
was
again.
It's been a pleasure.
Talk to you later, guys, and see you everyone on stream. Well, in 5 seconds. I guess.
Yes.
So 16 barrels on the trailer now, 6 minutes 17 gone in time.
And yeah, I think they're gonna get into the 8 minutes by this, unless it all goes horribly wrong.
They've got 20 downloads, so if we can get back, the New Holland
Yeah.
has gone. They've learned that is the slower
Yeah,
of the two telehandlers.
certainly that's the. And
Thought the Manitou
now
was
the
gonna-
Manitou is heading back. It is gonna be a sub 7-minute time.
It is, and across the line there with a 6 minutes 44 seconds,
Yes.
0.89, which places them.
I believe that places them at 19th, just just below Die Hard. I think that is.
About 19th. Team Unimod there, all 20 barrels, 6 minutes 44.89. So well,
Oh
massive
yes,
over
sorry. That's right.
for those guys. Some neat loading there as well, which is pretty cool.
I just realised that's Die Hard. That's an awesome name.
Oh yeah. that was for the team that was there before we.
That was that's a team that.
It was nice to speak with some people from Giants as well. Of course,
It
Martin
was.
will be joining us again later for Vertex, which should be next.
Yes. Provided we can sort of be issued the lag.
This is true.
But no, I believe you guys have us for half an hour. Between.
What time is it?
So it's currently 2:30, I believe.
Oh yeah.
Oh no, it's currently 22 minutes past 2, and the next team is on at 3 o'clock.
So we've got 36 minutes.
So we've got 36 minutes of us waffling on, which was great. We know what we do.
I mean, I could commentate you doing it by yourself, but I don't think you'll be able to get the 8-minute mark.
I don't think I'd get in the 8-minute mark. I think that would probably I think I'd probably fail horribly.
So once again, if you are just tuning in, we're at the Farming Simulator Championship here at FarmCon 18 in Germany from the Horsch complex.
Yep.
So,
In a short while, we will have the Vertex Design stand team up here, I believe it is.
which is the modding team.
And it's not quite so. I'm going to do a very English thing now. It's not quite so bright outside at the moment.
Speaking of weather,
Speaking of weather, it's it's a slightly duller day at the moment, but we are still surrounded by a massive, very large Porsche equipment.
we are. People on the Alga wagon as well.
Yeah,
Those guys can't actually see, but
yeah.
believe us,
You
it's
guys
there.
can't see, but there is. It's just.
This isn't. We're not in a shed somewhere. This is a real.
This is. I believe it seems to be a fairly nice conference centre. This.
It does. We believe this is the showroom.
Yes.
For what we've seen.
The doors are certainly big enough to get in some pretty big. Some pretty big vehicles.
Some. They also have a Giants merchandise shop here as well. I need
They
to
do.
check. I do need to go get myself a
I,
T-shirt at one point before we leave.
I have 4 rosies in my bag.
4 roses.
Four
For those of you that
roses.
know, rosies is the cow,
Farming Simulator cow.
the mascot.
The
Goes by as
mascot, yeah, the mascot. And yeah, I have purchased 2 for my twins. Because I figured it'd be quite nice to take a little souvenir back to them. So yeah,
I could purchase 2 for my twins, but
you don't have.
they're dogs.
They're dogs.
Yeah, we actually have a
Ah,
Rosie.
we have a Rosie. This is Rosie.
She has a
She does. Farm
Farm Simulator logo on her back.
I have wanted one of these for a stupidly long period of time.
I remember seeing those at is it E3, maybe?
Yeah, I
might be
think
last time.
they first appeared at some point last year.
Yeah.
And yeah, I have wanted, and this is but I am gonna have this on the shelf behind me while I stream. Just sort of standing next to the tractors. Tractor models that I've got. But I think we can have Rosie sort of standing in the middle of
The mascot.
the table there, and
We have people
sort of keep you something.
coming with Chaos Crew just.
The Chaos Crew have just
turned up. They are still at the
filed
top. They'll be happy to know.
getting their front row seats early, I think.
They are still first and second with a 3 minutes 42.66 and 3 minutes 43.08. However, third place has now gone to LTO and LG, which was a fantastic round with a 3:53.2.
That was a fantastic one. I really thought that they were in with a shot actually of taking first.
Creative Mesh down to 10th now. They did such a good round yesterday.
Yeah.
But everyone else has just come and
Just last. Well,
we've got Mafia at Scholek, as we said, could have been first, now down to 6th anyway, so it wouldn't have had Motorsport. They were the probably the most. Those are the guys that didn't really waste a second. They did everything.
No, they did everything really, really nicely, and it was about as close yesterday, I think, as we saw to a perfect run.
Yes.
But it just seems that it was
maybe too much perfect because it took too long. Maybe
it is that combination of speed and neatness that is needed really to get those fast times. I am blown away that this is doable in under 3 minutes. I'm blown away that this is doable in under 3 minutes. That there's like 2-minute 56s that people have done.
Just looking at the scoreboard now, I don't think you can't place in the top 20 now without scoring the perfect all 20 fails, of course.
It is. Which is cool.
Hello, Mr. Lars. Yeah, that works. I'm back.
Guess what? He's back.
We figured the problem out, so I can't come back because Martin has no time to do the vertex design stuff, and I really want to make fun of these guys, so I'm coming back for that.
So we're joined once again by Lars, a giant zone Lars, who you guys all know from
without the 5-second delay that has never been there, but our guys over there.
Right.
One was watching on YouTube and one was watching on Twitch, and that was a 5-second delay. The other was like, "Oh man, I just hear that now," and they were like, "Oh, there's a delay." And then I figured out that they were on 2 different streams.
Yeah, that is an odd thing because I stream on both. I stream on both simultaneously.
Exactly.
And I try and keep an eye on both streams at the time, just because my internet connection is so awful that at any time I could lose either one of them. And basically, Twitch has a longer delay to it than YouTube does.
It does.
But it's
And
also got the upper quality.
It does have a yes and no. Well, I suppose I think it must be the pre-processing and post-processing.
Doesn't that depend on the channel as well? Isn't it with Twitch that you can get a better quality or a wider range of quality even if you're a Twitch partner or something? That you can have higher highs and lower lows?
Yeah,
basically.
Personally, I have a manual delay. I can put 30-second delay on for the buffering and stuff. Selectable, I suppose. So one person left on the schedule at 3 o'clock German time. Will also be 2 o'clock for us back home.
Yep.
So just over 30 minutes for that. Vertex Designs, which are the modders who give us some fantastic ones.
Yeah, and whose teams so far have posted the top 2 spots.
Yes. Well, server members. Chaos Crew are in the room with us now.
Yes.
Am I right in saying not what was the Vertex map? Oh,
Well, they did, for example, the Horsch pack.
They
which
did
is,
do the
which
Horsch
is
pack, yes.
that we are at Horsch. That
We
you
are
might,
at Horsch,
there is
yes.
this hint that they wear Horsch red, actual sports jerseys with the Horsch logo on the back.
Ah.
of course,
They're very
proper
subtle about it.
esports team here.
Yeah, they actually wear proper esports jerseys, and they did they won the mod contest
Contest.
for the Horsch map,
Yeah.
Yep.
the Knatzmost or whatever that is pronounced. I really don't know how it's pronounced.
So I take it because we were trying to figure out that isn't here, is it?
No, that's not here. That's in the Czech Republic, I think.
Okay. Okay.
So Horsch has like 5 or 6 different locations. That one used to be the old farm of the Horsch brothers. So if you look behind that building that no one except for us can see right now because we're on stream, but behind that there is the old farm. It's still there, and the brothers are still living there. The family is still living there, and then they just expanded because Horsch is not that old. They're I think like 35-year-old company.
All right. Wow.
And yeah, then they built this thing, and they got all these other locations. But that one is the headquarter basically.
Speaking of companies growing, Horsch is one of them. When you look at the equipment outside now, and I'm still blown away with that auger, but those guys can't see it anyway. So.
I mean, if you are lucky, you can grab Michael Horsch because he's running around. He loves our game and he loves the community basically. So he's running around talking to players, which I personally think is amazing. You know,
it's wonderful to see such support from a manufacturer, and they invited Giants here. As
they
I
did.
Understand it.
I think it was because of the bad food last year. not 100% sure, but the way that happened is there was actually a hilarious story, and we have enough time so I can tell it. Last year on FarmCon, we were in Paderborn, and it was a nice location, but it was canteen food, and it wasn't bad per se, but it was canteen food. You know, it's not great either. And Michael Horsch was there, and he tasted the canteen food. He was like, "This is not good enough." And then he had this presentation, and during the presentation he got so excited about FarmCon and about us and everything that he just was there and then, you know what, now next year you come to me and I'm gonna pay for the food and I'm gonna bring real food and you can drive tractors and we're gonna do this the real way.
Oh wow.
And well, we had everything on tape because we record all presentations. And then a couple of weeks later, it was actually him approaching us, was like, by the way, that wasn't fun, right?
Yeah.
FarmCon is with us next year. And then we had our first meeting with the Horsch event managers, and that was probably one of the most hilarious meetings I had in all my life, because we came to Horsch, and it wasn't Michael Horsch or anyone, it was his event manager team, a marketing team, and they didn't know who we are, because they're not dealing with gamers or games in general. They are dealing with farmers, and you know, so they looked at us like, "Who the hell are you guys? You know, what do you want?" And we were like, "So we need the big hall down there. We need that one. We need tractors to drive. We need free food. Good food, please. We need drinks." And they were like, "And why do you think you get that?" Basically, you know, you can tell from their face. They were like, "Why would you think you get it?" Our video dude, and I will never forget that, he has his laptop with him.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Well, because open the laptop and just press play on the video because your boss said so." Turned it around, and the marketing was just sitting there, was watching the video, like, oh. And that's how it started.
That's brilliant. The free food, by the way, wasn't just for Giants. It was every single person that came to FarmCon.
Yeah. Everybody yesterday had a token for free food and free drink.
Yeah, and they didn't, you know, it was not just food, but they brought in a proper catering service with steaks and what's the English word for the picnic? Is it picnic?
Oh,
you know, the Spanferkel in German. I think.
I should know this.
Hog roast?
Hog roast. Yes, it was hog roast.
So they actually brought proper food in, you know.
It was delicious. I mean, I've never eaten.
So I heard it was a steak sandwich on the menu, and I was like, okay, because in England a steak sandwich is shavings of like a really cheap bit of steak with maybe a bit of American cheese slapped inside, and then when it got given to you first, it's actually a roll with an actual steak in it. I was like, what?
Big piece of pork
That's the German way of steak sandwich.
This is not shavings. This is a full steak.
This is a full steak.
In a sandwich.
Which was great because we forgot to eat before yesterday's session, so I immediately went out and had 2 steak sandwiches.
Yeah, well, you can still eat after this session because you are done after Vertex, right? That's
that's
our
last one.
stream
unless,
final.
Unless of course somebody else wants to step up and take one of the last 2 spots that are still available. But
I think Vertex has actually been pushed back since we started. I think it was at 3 originally.
No, they've been pulled forward.
That's what I meant. So yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
They were at 3.
10 minutes time.
I think we're gonna finish with Vertex, and then we might close down the screen even, and then we grab some food because you are still, you know, we invited you, so you won't starve because otherwise you go home and you're like, next stream is like, you wouldn't believe, you know, how Giants treated me. First of all, they dropped me in the hotel, didn't tell me about the party, and then there was no food on Sunday. This weirdo was coming into our stream all the time. dropping f-bombs, saying stuff like "shit's broken, yo."
He's also filled my bag up. You guys find out about that later.
Yes.
When we came this morning, we went, there you go.
They are.
Yeah, well, you know, it's my chance to get stuff over to England without sending it. So it's lazy me just taking advantage of you guys being here.
And it's not Farm Sim 19 for push
No, it is not.
But go back to the food. One of the interesting things was putting ketchup in there, which is an actual cow udder.
Yes, yeah.
Never seen that before,
never
by the
seen
way.
that.
The sauce dispensers are udders, and you use them like udders.
You've never seen that.
I've never seen that.
I'm in
It's
Germany
not-
for
that
quite
does
some
not
time
exist
now.
in the
That
UK.
was a first for me as well. But it worked very well, so
Yeah.
I give them that.
It's really good. But yeah, it's been I've had a really good time this weekend. I've massively enjoyed myself.
We even had people camping last night. You saw that outside.
Oh yeah.
There's people camping outside.
Oh, they do that
Horsch.
every year, by the way.
Really?
So there are these two guys who have this hangar, basically, where they just put in a mattress or something. They do that every year. They did it last year. They do it this year. It just seems to be their thing. Maybe they're just cheap, you know, want to save money.
Saves money. Can't
Or
afford
maybe
to
they
camp
just
in
like it. I don't know. But no, they do that every year.
It's certainly been-
Last year we had someone arriving with a tractor as well.
Oh, wow.
That's why I made the rule that if you come up with a tractor, you get free entrance. No one did this year.
Yeah.
Oh,
We'll do that again next year.
there's a tip for you guys.
Yeah.
Bring your tractor to Germany.
Yeah.
That would be quite a drive.
Fun drive.
Well, these two guys, they were two kids. They weren't 18, so
Oh, right.
they couldn't drive a real car, but they could drive the tractor.
Oh, that's
So they used the
brilliant.
tractor, and I think it was a 6-hour drive or something. They weren't even that far away, but it was a
But
tractor.
it was a tractor.
And you know, I feel then you deserve to come in.
Yeah.
If you do that, you deserve to come in. You deserve to see the game. It's just. Yeah, it was
that's
cool.
some proper dedication.
One way of commuting.
Yeah.
So in 7.5 minutes, we'll have Vertex Design take to the gaming table.
Yeah, they have been here before, but I think they're. Oh, no, they're still
Oh,
waiting.
yeah. Give
us
They are
away
waiting.
first.
They are ready. They're sitting there going, okay, we can take first. How are we supposed to do that?
I
First
think
you can
actually,
see
I think those are the guys who are actually already sitting in first, who have got front row seats to see whether they're going to get knocked off the top.
3 minutes 42.66 is to beat.
Yeah, they won't beat it. I think they will finish third or something, maybe fourth.
Yeah, I'm very much in the opinion right now.
Well, to be fair, I'm
that
cheating here.
nobody will finish. No one will finish either. No one will finish in second, or they won't finish in second.
Yeah, that will be hard.
To hit that 4.42 second, no, hundredth of a second window, I think is.
That would be hilarious.
That
man.
would be so funny.
But yeah, I'm cheating because I've spoken to the guys during lunch and they were like, we are not as fast as the others. So, okay,
Oh, right.
I can say, yeah, I'm an expert. They will finish third.
Yeah.
And don't worry, we won't tell them that you put the bell locking script on to
Yeah.
that stuff as well.
That would be good.
One way to shout sabotage.
Oh, there's a bunch of bosses showing up. Video Dude, CEO, Leafionix. You know, they've
Hello.
been on the stream for like, maybe they've been on the stream, maybe I'm so big that they haven't been on stream, I'm not sure. Can't see the camera picture. But yeah,
What's more worrying is I've been sat here for about 6 hours on that, and only just realised there's a door behind us.
there is.
Well, admittedly, there is a stack of fancy steering wheels.
It's the door
behind
with
there.
the spare tables and the spare chairs, so it's not an important door.
So Vertex, Union's been, and the rest, there is a free slot which is actually too late. Now. We've only got 5
yeah,
minutes.
because that is the slot we're currently talking our way through.
This is the one people have been looking forward to, I think.
Yeah.
Martin said he'll be watching these as well.
This could change everything. Unlikely, but it could.
Who knows?
Well, the room is filling up, so a lot of
Room is
people are
filling up, so
expecting
it's-
an awesome match. And I think we are streaming it down.
Down to
Not
the main
100% sure, but I think the last presentation has just finished. And I know that every time the presentation I'm not running, we are streaming down our stream basically down to the main hall so that people can watch it as well. So
There's something really, really silly I want to do. If you're watching us in the main hall, let's hear you scream.
no,
No, I don't think it's on the main hall.
let's try though.
That's right, yeah.
So 4 minutes and 45 seconds.
It's either that or FarmCon players are just really reserved.
And they already look nervous.
They do.
So I'm hoping we don't get the. Did you see any of the creative mesh one yesterday?
No, because I was in an interview.
Oh yeah.
I just heard
they-
they've almost. I almost
Almost.
F-bombed again. They screwed up massive.
Oh, wow.
Some chairs being removed here.
We are already starting to pack up things, guys. We are still working here. That's just how it works.
We made no mistake. You're welcome.
So we're being kicked out.
That's it. FarmCon is over. In the middle of the year, get
We'll
out.
see you next year.
Yeah, Creative Mesh just got off to a really good start. They had the
Yeah.
printouts and
And it was a really good run right up until that.
I think they
last
just want to have a little bit more space
Yeah.
because we are not the ones packing up the chairs. So if we do it, then it's for a reason.
Yeah.
Or maybe the guys are just bored and like, oh, you know what? Let's just move some chairs.
Or the winners ceremony. I would suspect the winners ceremony. I would suspect.
Is that up here?
I
Yeah,
don't
it
know, actually.
probably is up here.
Yeah.
We probably won't bring 10 cameras down. Yeah, it
No,
will be up
yeah,
here.
it will be up here.
That was a stupid question, actually. Is the winning ceremony here? No, we are just, just taking all these cameras and just going down.
we'll be coming to you guys with an iPhone camera probably.
Yes.
From downstairs.
Well, I've seen that. I mean, there are a couple of streamers running around with iPhones on a stick and then just going, oh.
I did have this grand plan to try and do a little bit of streaming from here, but unfortunately, I have no signal. I spent most of the weekend trying to find the little bit of edge signal I have in a couple of places.
Well, there is Horsch free Wi-Fi
There is. I couldn't quite work out how to get on it.
because it's German text. You could
it's-
ask, you have
But
all
there's-
these giants
but
guys around
that's
to
very
help.
true. I really should have.
I could translate everything apart from the last box.
last
so I don't
box.
know what that is.
That's the box you need to press, by the way. It's the one
No,
that
no,
says if you
there's
don't have an account.
There's an IHR number or something.
Hello.
Here we go.
Ah.
Vertex Design.
Vertex is,
taking.
You can tell, right? Look at this.
I think they
I'm-
may have done something to do with the Horsch deal.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
have
I
something
also,
to do with
I
the
also
Horsch
think
deals.
we may have had extra cameras added.
They are still working on the Horsch stuff, by the way. I don't know
Are
what
they?
for, but I know that they are still working
It is
on it.
one of my
So
favorite.
maybe we're gonna see more Horsch from Vertex Design in the future.
That would
No
be
pressure, guys, but I think they're still
But
doing
it is one of the more useful packs that's come out.
It's really
for
cool.
Farm Sim. It's really good. Right up there with the Coon DLC. Which
And there is
which
a
fantastic.
physical version of the Horsch DLC as well. We gave it away on Agritechnica, and I
Yes.
think
It's in the goodie bags as well. For
Yeah.
it was well.
And,
It was 50% Horsch or Rosselmarsch. Something like
okay.
that. I think it was more Horsch because we are at Horsch, but a couple of Rosselmarsch DLC special boxes.
Yep.
They're kind of rare.
It's just nice to have a hard copy anyway, I think.
Yeah, it is.
Because obviously I had Farm Sim 17 on Steam, I've got it, but I've also got the collector's edition as well. 'Cause it's just nice to have things, I think.
Ooh, speaking of which, the collector's edition for 19 is very nice. And I'm more, and I think I'm the only person on the planet, and people will correct me about this now, but I am really, really excited for the Commodore 64 version of Farm Sim.
Are you streaming it?
I may stream it because the first farming simulation game I ever played was Sim Farm, so the Maxis game from back in the day. I played that for hours upon hours on it, and I look at the C64 edition of Farm Sim, I go, that just takes me back. I know it will play very differently, but it is,
It's the second time an April's Fool joke actually made it into the game.
yeah.
We had that last year with the smell thing.
The smell thing.
And then
It's
there was this company approaching us like, we actually built this. And so the April's Fool joke turned into a real thing. And this time it was pretty much the same. We were like, we should just announce a 64
Yeah.
version just for shits and giggles. And then Laszlo, our sound designer, he's a huge C64 fan, and he's in C64 basically programmer teams, and he was like, you know what, we could actually do that. Let's put it into the collector's edition.
I am so looking forward to playing that.
And it was hilarious when the first picture leaked of
Yeah.
the collector's edition. Everyone was like, oh, this is fake because the C64 version is on there. And we're like, well, actually, newsflash, guys, it wasn't a joke.
Well, because when these things come along, I tend to get very. I tend to try and do a deep dive into the image to work out whether it's fake or not.
Oh, Vertex Design.
They're off. No, they're not.
Well, they're still low on the
No,
loading
they're still
screens,
loading into the game.
Yeah, they are like, we wait for 1 minute, so it's a challenge.
So yeah, I whenever these come out like this and people go, oh, it's fake, I try and do a deep dive into the image because I've worked in Photoshop for a long time, and I know the things to look for when somebody's photoshopped something together and badly photoshopped it together. and I couldn't find it. I couldn't find any of the normal areas that hit for that kind of thing. And I went, I think this is real. I think this is an actual thing. And then you confirmed it. Not very long afterwards.
It was real. I mean, what am I
And it
supposed to
was-
say? You know?
Yeah.
I made myself the promise never lie to the community.
Yeah.
So they were like, is this real? I was like, I could either just shut up
Um,
or tell them. So I decided to tell them. The funny thing is, no one believed that this was real. But then again,
Yes.
did you see the badly photoshopped Kubota thing?
Mhm.
There was this Kubota DLC someone
Yes.
invented with
Yeah,
wrong logos. It was just a really bad Photoshop. It was like, oh, this has to be real. But
Yeah.
then they see the real collector's edition, they're like, no, this is fake.
there was a John Deere one as well, expansion pack for 17 that was going around.
Yeah, there
doing the
was.
rounds.
Yeah, but that one was better made, I think. The Kubota thing really looked cheap.
Yeah.
I can do that in paint. And people were like, oh no, this has to be real. I was like, really, guys? Do I really have to, deny? So yeah, let's see. Still loading screens.
It's still loading screens. So some slight. Yeah.
Slight delay.
We are
slight
live.
delay.
They are already late. And they haven't even started.
It sounds like a tactical thing, if I'm being honest. Tactically trying to put it off.
So
I think we waited a little bit because we have one more camera. So
Ah.
we upped our game when it comes to recording this because we want to have this. Okay, technic team says they are ready. And these three guys look ready as well.
Excellent.
We don't see it,
We
but
are-
yeah,
we-
you
yeah.
know.
There,
There we go.
So here we go. 3 minutes 42 seconds and 66 hundredths of a second to beat.
Vertex design mod team, and they've gone for the
It's the STUM team, which means
Stum
core
team.
team.
So it means
Core team?
core team.
Core team.
All right. We
Um,
have been getting that wrong all day then.
So they're
And,
positioning the stuff first, the loaders first. They've gone for the front as well, of course. I think.
They
is the
look like they're trying to pick the fence up with the Manitou at the moment.
I believe that's the fastest tractor there, but I could be wrong. Because as we
The
experienced.
Manitou. Yeah, the Manitou has to be the fastest.
No, the
Fence,
Fent
sorry.
tractor.
The Fendt is the fastest tractor. The Manitou is definitely I
We
think
learned-
it's the fastest in general, the fastest thing on the whole map.
So the Vulture's ready.
So
Getting ready,
what's
I should say.
so they are going. I think they're going for the same system as the other two.
They probably practice
actually,
together.
no, I'm not sure they are. They both went up the middle. Didn't they?
I believe so. I think both teams did.
Yeah.
we've
So
got-
this is a different way of doing it.
Oh, understand.
And they're off.
And they're off.
And they are
crossing the line,
they are going in a different way.
which of course starts the timer. It's pretty obvious. The Magnum always goes for this first of all. I think every
Yes.
single game starts
Yeah,
there.
and
so
every single time. If as I said yesterday, I've never seen the two tractors cross over on that first row. Nobody ever uses the Vulture on that first row.
So the Vulture is actually going down the middle, which we've
Oh,
learned previously.
wow.
Gets rid of the bump that they have to do to put on the trailers, so it'll be
Now
more
this
accuracy.
is smart.
Oh, the bell has fallen off the foot bit. So Parachute's quickly picked it back up
Yeah.
again. And they have got the second one.
And that is
So the manager's going to load up the first two now.
first two bales on within 50 seconds.
Two. Interestingly enough, the other bales are on this side of the field, but it looks like he's getting out now into the New Holland.
Yeah. He has remembered to unload the bales from
Yes,
the back of
just
the
like we
baler,
saw
'cause
previously.
We did see a team come have an issue where they forgot to unload a bale and ended up with too few bales on the playing field.
I don't think they were aware of the why key unloading that. So he went out there with some more. But the other two bales going on now. So once again, 3 minutes 42.66 to beat. They're doing pretty well.
They are. This is a good time.
1 minute 30 gone on the clocks. So far, already 4 on the trailer.
3 more swaths of straw to
Wait.
be baled.
Magnum there would have cost a couple of seconds.
Although
I reckon.
I will be surprised if they do fail the last one.
I think they're on nice and straight. Those other two probably going to need to get pushed on, especially when you put some weight on them. New Holland's going to put another 2 on here. We've also seen the previous team, they knocked the front axle, which made the tailor tip over, which is bad news for them.
Yeah, not so good.
So that's 8 bales in about 2 minutes. So another.
They're doing quite well with the
They are
stack.
doing quite well. We are halfway through at 2 minutes 12. This is a good time.
2 minutes
They're fast.
15. halfway full already. I think it's going to shoot up when the third loader gets on. We can see it going back in the background there now. And we already know he's going to jump into the Vultra. Not Vultra, sorry, the Fent.
Yeah.
So the Vultra's gone back, is what I was meant to say.
There are 12 bales now onto the trailer.
The Fent's scooping them up, which is pretty interesting.
It is some fairly accurate stacking.
So 2 minutes 43 on the clock now. 12 on the trailer.
Ooh, that's
14 now.
That's an interesting interesting stack the Manitou just did. That I think is a little bit unstable.
This is some interesting loading techniques. We've seen it today, but this is really accurate.
I've never seen it with the Fent though. I've seen it with the Manitou and with the New Holland.
Yeah,
the Fent is doing this very
the
specific technique as well, and that means that they are pretty much done already.
Yeah, 16 on the trailer so far. It's about to be 18.
And the Manitou is already there.
I did notice that the Fent missed the bell. That could have cost a couple seconds.
Oh wow,
well,
this is a very good
time.
They've left the fastest telehandler to get back last.
Ooh.
He has. Oh,
the Fent is now back.
Well, he has still like
the Manitou.
It looked
10 seconds to go.
It's off.
They can still do it.
He can still
He's
come
got
first.
He can. It's
go, go, go,
no,
go.
no. 41.
No.
42. There it is. It's gone.
And a
no, he's not across the line. He's still.
And across the line.
Across the line.
With a 3 minutes 49 seconds. That ending.
That was a very good run.
Very
that
good.
was
very
excellent.
There was
run.
a 10-second gap at one point, but it looked like the bale didn't quite fall off the fork there.
So,
they could actually made it to first with the last bales.
Third, there we go.
That
place.
tricky last bale.
What did we say at the start as well? It's going to be Vertex Design on the top 3.
Yeah,
it is.
that's interesting.
But yeah, very impressive run that.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. I have to switch to German for a very quick second. Die 15:30 Uhr Werksführung. Diejenigen von euch, die in der 15:30 Uhr Werksführung sind, die findet schon um 15 Uhr statt. Also wer die 15:30 Uhr hat, am besten in den nächsten 6-7 Minuten da mal rumschauen. Dankeschön. We just switched the factory tours, the 3:30 tours. That's a free. So I had to switch to German and tell the people.
So yeah, everybody's got that.
So that they can join it, because Horsch is really quick with that. I think they have 2 teams of factory tours all the time.
Okay.
And it seems that one was just so fast that they are pushing through.
So people are obviously not here. The factory is literally right behind us. It's like
it's
a 5-minute walk.
If that.
So this is the showroom, right? This bit here?
This is one of the meeting rooms. So you can see that this is actually 2 meeting rooms. They removed the wall. If they bring the wall back in, then this is a meeting room, and there's another meeting room back there. And the third one, which is now our crew room behind that. So it's 3 meeting rooms, and then on the other side it's I think it's the marketing team sitting there, marketing and events. And then there's obviously the big show hall that they usually use to show new vehicles. Well, technically they did this well now, just with a game.
Yeah, which is just...
So 3 minutes 49, that was looking like a very, very impressive time.
I really, until the Manitou was having trouble at the end, I think that was a winning run.
I don't think he tilted it down enough. It was the stack was too high and it couldn't slide off properly. That was a problem. But there we go. Vertex Design. Technically all 3, but the real Vertex Design who made the Horsch DLC.
The real Vertex. You're gonna get in trouble for that one.
Well, it's the first 2 teams are Chaos Crew Vertex Design mix-ups. You know, because I think these guys are very close friends. The third one, that's the actual Vertex Design. I know, basically.
Yeah.
We call it the main guy is the core team. But yeah, no, these guys, you can tell they practiced. I've been told they practiced the last 3 weeks.
Wow.
So they have a little bit of an advantage over everyone else because they practiced a lot.
There you go. Put in the hard work. And
well, they're on their home turf, right? They have to prove that they're good. I mean, Michael Horsch is probably watching that very closely, and it's like, if these guys don't win, you know, we are so done with this DLC and everything.
They made a couple of mistakes. It was a really good run, I think. I saw obviously at the very beginning, the telehandler dropped a bale. The Fent missed one. And then, of course, at the end, that was it, to be fair. Pretty flawless run.
It's
really good run.
Which makes me wonder, this was one of the more flawless runs.
Yes.
How do you reach 2:56? You know, what
I-
do you have
as
to
I
do
say,
to be a
that's-
whole minute faster?
That's why we were sort of sitting here earlier going, we don't think this can be done in less than 3.5 minutes, because the Chaos Cream Vertex Design 2, they dropped a bail and they left the New Holland to be the last vehicle to come in. And as far as we can see, that's the only mistakes they made. Otherwise, they had an absolutely flawless run.
It was quite a good show, that one, because the crowd was clapping saying, come on, but just couldn't, New Holland couldn't be fast enough.
It was just-
But the top, literally the top 5, so we've got Chaos Crew 1, Chaos Crew 2, then Vertex Design, LTO and LG, Franken Crew in the top 5 there. Some pretty impressive times, considering, when did we start off again?
Oh,
14.
Frank Crew is still in there. There was one of our developers joining in because they lost a player. So Stefan Maros joined in to be the third one.
Yeah, we had,
yes, because we had Martin sitting here at the time, and he was very much taking
Oh
the
wow,
mickey.
that looks amazing. I love how the headset just destroys my hair. No one told me. I'm sitting here for 3 hours and everyone's like, oh my god, look at this guy. Looks like the fat version of
I
Winnie
got
Pooh."
I got in trouble with my viewers yesterday because I wasn't wearing my hat. The big thing I got over that, A was, you guys did great, which was very nice to see, and B, it was where's your hat? You've got to wear your hat.
And for you, it was actually the first time showing your face on screen,
Yes,
right?
Yes.
exclusive face reveal.
Yeah.
On FarmCon.
There's still no
That's
face cam on my stream.
One
So-
more exclusive reveal we
Yes.
didn't even speak about.
It's out there now. Everyone's
So
no
sad.
nightmares forever.
It's yeah.
That was I enjoyed it. Last
Yeah.
2 days.
It's been a fantastic weekend. I have had so much fun.
Martin seems ready to do the big
Yeah.
ceremony.
Ceremony now.
Yeah, unfortunately, we removed half of the room when we announced that the factory tour is half an hour earlier. Yeah, that pretty much destroyed the crowd.
So yes.
So while we are all working, Josh is just buying Horsch merchandise. That's what you do, really. Come in here.
This
Show your face. You're gonna show Rakin. This is the
This is
guy.
Rakin.
This is Rakin.
Rakin.
Okay, yes. It was his birthday yesterday.
It was.
yeah, we sang happy birthday.
His
to him.
birthday,
It's like-
14th birthday, what was it? Yeah, something around that. The guy talk about a lot,
Yeah.
and he's a lot on Discord. So I think they cut down. Oh no, my microphone is still running.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, that's it. You can use your Horsch merchandise and just shoo out of the stream. Thank
For
you.
those that still don't know who Rakin is, he's one of the creators of Seasons Mod.
Yes.
I'm sure everyone knows what Seasons Mod is.
Yeah.
Which is I think I do think that's my favourite mod in the game, because it has just changed the entire way I play Farm Sim.
It's funny because one of the things that I wanted to, because in FS15 there was, I forgot the name of the mod, but you had to look after your bail extension maybe. And I was saying it to him on, it was a Slack website, and then the day later, there you go, look after your bail.
It was quite nice because we all as a group of actually just as a group of people who play Farm Sim, because we aren't all YouTubers either.
No.
We stumbled across the season's source code well before its release, and we all grabbed it and went, "Oh, this is awesome! We've got to start playing with this." And so we all did, without realizing that they hadn't necessarily intended to make it public at the time, and what we were using was very much an alpha version. But kudos to Real Elizabeth. They then said, well, you guys can help us. You guys can test it for us and find bugs and help us make it better. And so yeah, we got to use Seasons a decent time ahead of its release, and it did. It absolutely changed how I played Farm Sim. And it does. It makes you think 5, 6, or 7 days ahead.
Yeah.
He's a very talented
then-
boy as well.
Then again, that's what a couple of people don't like about Seasons. That they have to think ahead.
Yeah.
They just want to play. So Seasons is very well received, but a lot of people hate it as well because they're like, oh, I don't want that. I just want to play. But no, it's an amazing mod.
But kudos to Giants as well for getting it, for seeing that there was also a big appetite for consoles, and getting it converted across to that, because that was that again. That's one of those things that the community called out for, and then everybody was surprised that it actually happened.
Yeah. I almost leaked it. Because we do I do the modern testing, you know, and then Rakin came over to the Swiss office to build up seasons for console and work on console. And at one point, they just activated seasons to test it. The very second I was taking the list, and it was in there because they were testing it. They was just copying it with PS4, Xbox seasons, just copy pasted it in, and then like 2 seconds later, I got a Skype message from Rakin going, "Can you just remove seasons?" They was like, "Oh, oops." Leak right here. No one realized. One guy was like, "Was there season on it?" I was like, "Oh yeah, it was mistagged. It was a PC thing." Because it was supposed to be a surprise, and it was so close to being released, I don't want it to be the guy leaking it.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, I forgot my, never lie to the community for a minute. I was like, oh no, that was a mistake. And then 2 days or 3 days later, we actually announced it.
I think sometimes it's nice to have surprises though.
Yeah.
Because one day you logged on, and there it was.
We tried to, and the only problem we had with hiring Jos afterwards was that, for me, once we hired him, everyone was like, "Oh, so we're getting seasons in 19."
Yeah.
It's like, that's not what we hired him for. We hired him because he's a great programmer. He can help with the game.
Yeah.
And actually, he came to me, fun time. He came to me last week. Was like, "Can you announce that we don't have season in 19 before we are at FarmCon? Because I don't want to answer this question every 5 minutes." So I went to Mark last week. Was like, "Can I please tell people season is not in 19 before we have FarmCon, just to make sure Jos has not a bad time on his birthday at FarmCon." And they were like, "Yeah, just announce it." So I went out and told people there is no seasons, unfortunately, in the base game.
And I think it's complexity. I think is that it's probably going to be one of those modes that takes a little while to come out as well. So while I'm sad to tell them where to play seasons straight off, I with mods and everything, I understand absolutely that, especially with something of that complexity, it is going to take a while for it to get in.
No, we would love to have seasons in it, not gonna lie, but there's only so much we can do.
Now there is crop destruction, isn't there?
There is.
As an option.
Yeah, exactly. You can just turn it on and off in the game options.
Does it work the same way as 70?
I think. Does it? Doesn't work anymore?
Okay.
Now it works again? Nice. Yeah, well, Jos, you can answer that. Crop destruction, is it the same as in 17? Yeah, it's the same as in 17.
Okay, so
Isn't it awesome to have a developer like
It
5
is,
meters
it's
away?
yeah.
But I will
It's
pop
one of the
off the
things
stream
where
again in a second, because we're going to do the second arena. And
Okay.
that one will be for you, your show, and we'll probably take my microphone to the German version, I don't know. Something like that. So thanks again, it was fun. And as soon as we are done here, we will just chat again, because we do that without you. See ya again, guys, and thank you.
So we go.
So yeah.
Laugh.
Brilliant.
It's still very surreal with giants. So right now we've got the award ceremony for first place, which of course will be official announcement, but you guys know it is Chaos Crew 1.
Chaos Crew with a time that is just
Pretty unbeatable.
pretty unbeatable. Although
So I believe, I'm not sure, I think Martin's going to take over in a second.
in a second,
Once we get the wave and
and we
Promise.
will probably keep quiet for a
Believe
minute
it's-
at that point.
I believe
But
it's
yeah,
only in
it's-
German. I could be wrong.
Yeah, no, I believe it's in German, but I can't translate it. I don't think you can either.
No.
So yeah.
So once again, quick run through all the times before I get little bits and pieces done. The times, the best one was 3 minutes 42.66, 3 minutes 43 in second place with 08. Really close, really close.
And then third place, of course, was 3 minutes 49.81, which did look like it was going to be a winning time.
Not to forget LTO and LG in fourth that just shot to the top when they came up earlier. That was a really good play.
Yeah, and Franklin, who actually had a fantastic one as well. It's amazing, the top 10. I looked through the top 10, and I just go, these teams all had a fantastic run, and it is just the thing is it's a minute that separates.
Exactly. And where did we start when we
Top
came
10.
in? At 14 now, and
Yeah.
it's 13.46. That was what we thought was unbeatable, and now it's in 14th. So
Yeah.
Giant Software down to 17th with a 552.7. So what was your favourite out of the ones you can remember?
The ones I can remember.
I remember CG Production being a really good name.
Yeah.
If I remember right.
I remember Motorsport being a really good one as well. And I felt sorry for them, having done that fantastic run and then immediately being beaten by the next team.
And we of course had Creative Mesh as well, which is probably the most dramatic of the games.
And Mafia who fell foul of a sticky bear,
Yeah.
which is
So
it's been a good run.
I think we will be handing over to Giant Barry Martin very, very soon. Just waiting for a couple more things to be sorted out.
The room is filling up nicely at the moment.
Try. It's a pretty interesting podium.
Yes,
That's designed throughout the board. Energy Gaming as well. I think I remember them being quite
they were quite good.
quite creative.
It's been a good setup at the bottom at the top end of the table. I've really enjoyed this.
I have. I've really enjoyed it as well.
It's all been quite an exciting thing to watch. And I did have a few people comment the same thing actually to me, is they weren't quite expecting it to be as exciting as it was.
It's I really recommend anyone watching from anywhere else other than Germany as well going
Yes.
to FarmCon. It's not restricted to people that live in Germany at all.
And it does cater for those who don't speak German as well. There is an English translation here
Like
for all the talks.
Frontier Designs Bullet Bill was saying as well. It could all come in a massive unit. So.
Well, I do think actually that for modders and managers, this is invaluable. This is
Especially if you're a modder.
Yeah.
Because today, for example, we've met so many good modding names that we see online all the time, and they're actually here with us.
and I had some fantastic modding information for FS19. It's been a bit of an eye opener today.
So we need it
As
on,
far as that goes.
on your screens now, I think. The room is filled up nicely for the award ceremony. So ironically, I said CG Production was your favourite.
That's I think that may be some names taken from last year's,
Yeah, I think so.
especially with those times.
Yes. Well, the times have definitely improved as well.
Yes.
So once again, if you are just joining in, welcome to FarmCon 18 here at the Farming Simulator Championship. We are at the Horsch, and we are about to crown the winners of the Farming Simulator Championship. An impressive score. So let's hand over, maybe. No, not yet.
We can get the nod anyway.
Live TV.
Absolutely.
There's a couple more bits and pieces left to do. That's the man himself.
Gut, dann sind wir soweit. Farming Simulator Championship auf der FarmCon 18 ist vorbei. Und wir haben unsere Sieger und wir kommen auch zur Siegerehrung. Es gab ja Preise zu gewinnen im Wert von über 2000 Euro von Gigabyte gesponsert. Ich bitte jetzt erstmal unseren CEO Christian Ammann auf die Bühne. Hallo. Hier auch nochmal. Ihr könnt auch ruhig weiter kommentieren, auch für unsere englischen Leute im Stream noch ein bisschen so. Oh ja.
Alright, so it kind of sounds like FarmCon's over, and I don't know, a lot of valuable information there in their live stream, so now we can get kind of back to our deal here. We're just farming. We're harvesting our last field. It's a 160-acre cornfield. We finish our large bean field, so I'm just gonna try to open up a little section here. I think we averaged around 64 bushel or something like that for our beans in field 12, so pretty good crop off that field. Irrigated beans. This field is irrigated corn. So we should be getting around the 175, 180 bushel on this field. Alright, what's going on, Tina, Rady, N8 the Great Gaming, and more? Sounds kind of like a magician. Mr. Plays. So we've been streaming for like an hour and a half already. It's pretty early in the morning here. Just quarter after 9. Can't imagine many people are on watching. It's a 680 combine, not a 670. I wish I had a 670. I'd prefer that actually. Oh, what's this guy doing? Course play, what the hell, man? Course play drivers. Kart driver is squirrely this morning for sure. We got Squirrely Dan in the operator's cab over there. It's on a suicide mission. I don't think we need our lights yet. We'll probably flick on our lights when our hired worker does. I think it's going to be coming up here pretty soon in the next half hour when they turn on their lights. So I was listening to a live stream from FarmCon this morning, and it sounds like 19 is actually going to be a lot more improved than I thought it was. A lot of cool features. Seasons isn't going to be part of the core game. That's going to have to be kind of a supplemental mod like it is now. But it sounds like you won't be able to buy fields. You're going to buy farms, which is kind of more realistic. You'll be able to buy and build farms and things like that, which is interesting. They're working on the crops move out of the way from the vehicle, so it doesn't like go through the vehicle. They're also working on the rain, so it doesn't go through like buildings and cabs and stuff like that. So some kind of minor features that really don't change the game, but they're kind of little things that really make the game playing experience a little bit better, which is great. And then I guess there's like birds that come after your cultivator, you know, a little different. And I guess they're working, there's going to be a lot more environmental sounds, kind of like when you drive over the different ground textures, they have different noises, so I think they're really going to town on that. That's going to be a lot more improved upon than what it is, which I remember when 17 came out, I was pretty impressed with that. But I didn't really hear a whole lot about, you know, things like silo capacities, you know, only one crop per bin, you know, kind of things like that, or contracting prices. It's a lot of the updates are more about the game playing experience. It's more of a from a game developer's point of view instead of like a farmer's point of view. So they're saying like their team is kind of broken up into thirds. You know, people that are farmers, people that aren't farmers but are developers, and then you know people that are neither of those, and they just kind of you know design games. So I think the third of the 1/3 that are farmers, they kind of got shoved to the side here in a lot of the features, and it's kind of going more towards the gameplay, the people that are neither the coders and developers or the farmers. So. You know, and obviously there's going to be an improved lighting engine. Honestly, I think it's pretty fine the way it is, but can't hurt to have that. So, I got some help from Dusty, aka Sinister Socks, and the OBS recorder is, well, looks like he turned on his lights here. Doing a lot better. I think the stream quality is a lot better. My gameplay isn't lagged really at all. Because I think the OBS, it was trying to render off my GPU, and this game is pretty much taxing out my GPU. So we shift the OBS over to the CPU, and now my CPU went from like 6% usage up to like 35-40. So that's great. We have 0% drop frames. Our bit rate is at 4500, so I think we kind of have our stream setup kind of dialed in again here. So I think in this field we actually could get by with a larger header. We just go down one pass and we're at 50%. So I definitely think there's room on our farm. I think we're going to try to upgrade to a 12-row head. I think this combine can handle a 12-row head because in our long passes we're up to 50, 60% in our tank, and I think we could, if we tack on another 40%, I mean it'll get close, but you tack on an extra 50% of crops that's bringing in. We'll probably end up at the end of our headlands with 75, 80% of our tank capacity. So but then we're gonna have to wait for our grain cart to kind of catch up. So it may not be as efficient because sometimes we get hung up here. It takes a while for that grain cart to come back and service us, but speaking of the 12-row head, I might have to go use my own John Deere because I think the only 12 rows is New Holland. There's a case. Oh, there is a Capello 12-row. Great. So we just easily upgrade to that. Problem solved. So what we'll end up doing here is we'll be driving this combine, kind of what I plan on doing over this winter when we start selling some grain is I like to put some tracks on this combine, and I'd like to upgrade from an 8-row to 12-row header. I think that one is a folding corn head, so we don't need another trailer for that. That means we may have to upgrade our planter here as well. Our 16-row planter. Anyways, how's everyone doing this morning? Well, if you're on this continent, at least. Sounds like it's 2 or 3 in the afternoon over there in Germany, where they're doing the FarmCon. The Germans. Apparently, Vertex Design did the whole Horsch DLC. I thought that was a Giants thing, but kind of interesting. The only field I don't think we'd be able to harvest corn in with a 12-row would be field 12, but I think we'll kind of keep that as our bean field. just because we don't really have as many acres for. You know, it's going to take a lot of acres to get a lot of bushels when your yield's only about 64, which is a good yield. Don't get me wrong. So it's still going to take a lot of acres to get some bushels. So right now that was kind of a shorter pass. We're at 52%. So we definitely have room for larger header here. But as we kind of get more into this field here, kind of towards the middle, those passes are gonna probably be close to like 25-30% longer. So we'll have to see what kind of you know, once we get down there by the water, kind of more towards our irrigation unit, passes are gonna get about 30% longer, and we may not be able to use a 12 row. So the nice thing about these fields close to the farm is we don't have to have a truck. We don't have to pay a truck driver to transport our grain, and we don't have to have that truck burn fuel. So it's always nice when you can kind of have some acreage close to the farm. We just have our grain cart cut across the road and dump right into the trailer. Looks like our semi's full, so I'm gonna have to go ahead and empty that out. So 19 sounds like it's going to be a pretty good game. I think when it comes out, 17 with the mods is still going to be a superior version. But there's going to be a lot of nice features in 19 that definitely when mods start getting converted over, you know, maybe the soil mod, you know, and things like that, I'll probably try to switch over. It would be nice features if they had a cloud-based map converter. Go ahead and just convert over all the make it easy, quick and easy. So, as far as what we're going to be planting in 15, we might as well just plant that to corn. And maybe end up just plowing those two fields together. But I kind of like keeping that 38 and 15 separate, because one's irrigated and the other one's dry land. So. So, I mean, this pass over here, it's kind of hard to say what our capacity is because he empties us all the, you know, on the way down here. But when we get over across this little plateau, this little peninsula point, those passes are going to be quite a bit longer. things are getting shorter and shorter. On this side, we only have, I don't know, maybe 3 more passes left on this side, maybe 2. I'm gonna have to open up another little section. It would be nice. It sounds like they're doing some work on the crop textures because they say they kind of like move out of the way when you drive through them, so they don't go through your cab and stuff. But it'd be great if they kind of improved on their number block system. That way, you know, you see how it's like pulling in this row of corn here that it's not visible. That shit really drives me up a wall. It should be kind of more like this side where it's only taking in this one row. I have my number block set up to 1.33, which is 30-inch spacing on corn, but it'd be nice if they can kind of make that look a little bit better. It's not the inspector mod, it's called the glance. Thanks for the subscribe there, Carson. I didn't get the little notification, but I trust you. So looks like we're gonna have another night corn harvest. Because we're just getting started in this 160-acre cornfield. %, in that cart. It's great. It's definitely going to be another full truck. I want to make sure I have this truck. Yep, he's empty, which is great. One thing, you know, the combine is nice. One thing I need to do is I need to export these windows, or you know, duplicate them. So I have an indoor window and an outdoor window. And then the indoor window, I only want to have the key map on the outdoor window here. Is it a 680? Yep, it's a 680. A little big for us. Wish I had a 670. I may end up doing that. Actually, I may end up doing making another XML here for a 670, 660, 670. Although the 660 is a little bit smaller of a combine in terms of wheels and body size. Or maybe I'll just add the 670 decal to this XML. I need a 12-row corn header. I'm gonna have to disagree with you at this point. Eight rows, you know, we're doing pretty good here. I'm still convinced the 12 row is gonna be too big for our operation. Big of a draper, we run a 35-foot Macdon Flex. Not the biggest thing in the world, but works for us. So we're taking a lot of corn out of this field, which is great. Hopefully it's around the 175, 180 bushel. We're going to try to be trucking a lot of this corn this winter here to the ethanol plant. Help with the bank account here. Yeah, we'll definitely get our crop out of the field. This is our last field we're harvesting. Everything else is out of the fields already. And you know, if we have 2 more days of spring here, so we will be able to get it. We got our fall tillage done. All of our fields chisel plowed that we needed plowed. So our next season, our yield should be very, very, very good, because we're gonna get the extra boost from having all of our fields plowed, and we probably won't have to do it again for another 3 seasons here. You know, the whole periodic plowing thing. So 12 row would be nice. We'd be pulling in, you know, extra 50, you know, 50% capacity of what we are now. Tack on an extra 4 rows here. Get done a little bit quicker. Here comes our grain cart from the farm. Yeah, that guy just cuts right through. I mean, the 8-row header is not a small header. It looks small on our large combine here, but that's just because we have massive dual front tires. Yep, using GPS. I don't think there's a S-Series combine out there that doesn't use GPS. We use GPS for all planting and tillage and harvesting operations on this farm. Right now we're running a 16-row planter. We run that 16-row planter because we're running an 8-row head, or I guess vice versa. I think we may be upgrading to a 12-row corn head here, so we're gonna have to upgrade our planter as well. We're gonna have to figure it out. What I think I may do is, you know, it may make sense to kind of demo a 12-row at this point in time when we get to some of these longer passes, and just see how things go. But we'd always do that next season. It's gonna be, you know, kind of a hassle to drop this header, go pick up another header, and especially when we have no money in the bank account. Alright, so we're going to be finishing up this little section here, and then we're going to have to open up another one on our way back. I'm going to make sure our grain cart comes and empties us out here before we open up this next little section. I'm gonna go ahead and request a driver now. So we're empty on the when we reach the end of this pass. On this farm, we're only doing corn and soybeans. We don't have a third crop. We may try to incorporate maybe a wheat or a barley or something like that, some winter wheat, so we can, drill that in after we're done with beans or something, and harvest that first thing in the spring. Try to get some of our beans planted again. I think I'm going to increase my seasons from 9 to 12 days, and so we can kind of maybe get around to doing that. But in this region, you kind of can't double crop. But we're not even farming 1,000 acres, and the ground's going to freeze tomorrow, and we may not be able to do tillage. So for that reason, I think I might, increase the days anyways. Unless we just start doing some night tillage. Alright, so we're going to open up our next section here. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we'll try to take a little bit larger chunk out of here and see how it goes. So we started out around, 10%, 9%. This will be a shorter pass. Our next section that we get when we get closer to that irrigation unit are going to be some longer passes. One thing I haven't been to in a long time are like those egg shows. I used to go to those quite a bit when I was a little kid. I definitely kind of want to, you know, they don't have any of that going on around here, but that's one thing I kind of miss is going and putzing around. You know, they usually have them at fairs and stuff, but usually there's kind of an big egg show, looking at equipment and things like that. I think they tend to have them more towards the fall, because then they can do like combine demos and tillage demos. Yeah, farm progress shows. I'd love to go to one of those things, one of the bigger, you know, in like the bigger egg states. I think that would be really cool to go to. It's on my to-do list eventually. Oh shit, thanks Wesley. Appreciate it, bud. I have to say that was kind of out of nowhere. It's not a, you're not a regular in the chat, that's for certain. Looks like our John Deere is slipping here. I'm gonna go empty that corn while we're here. Yeah, if I lived an hour away from where a main egg show, farm progress show is, I'd go every year too. Hour drive is nothing. You know, the one thing I like about Courseplay is it kind of recognizes for like doing field work. It recognizes field boundaries, but for whatever reason, when you're doing a grain cart course, it doesn't really recognize those same field boundaries. So, you know, like he just kind of drives over the corn, which is great that hired workers don't destroy your crops with the crop destruction. Kind of smart to have that coded in there. because the hired workers are not the smartest. A lot smarter than they used to be, though. So you guys are gonna have to let me know if the stream quality is improved or not. Spent some time last night, going, trying different recording settings. That's why I kind of like posted like 5 or 6 videos that were a couple minutes long. Because we were trying to figure out why my OBS recording was terrible. It was terrible for me, terrible for the viewing, super laggy. So I think we have the settings to where they should be. I just don't really have a chance to kind of see the live stream recording. Well, I do, but I don't. So you guys are gonna have to let me know if the stream quality's kind of improved over the last couple streams, and things like that. As far as I know, it should be pretty good. You may need to let it buffer based on your internet settings. But right now it's uploading at a bitrate of 4,500 and 5,000, so there is 0 dropped frames, and it's uploading in 1080p. It says we're at a good 35 frames per second on the recording, 40 frames per second. The 40% CPU usage. So our grain card's at 80%, so we're gonna have to have him come and, top us off here on our way back. What's the yield on your corn? I don't really have a real-time yield calculator, but based on our other fields, the field across the road here, it's in a similar state. It was plowed, and it was fully irrigated, and that was right around 175, 180 bushels. So I imagine we're going to get pretty close to the same yield here, which is really good for this area. I think the area average is like 175. 170, so I might mess around with the numbers here to get some 200 bushel corn. That way the dryland crop is lower. So we're gonna request right now our lowest yielding cornfield was like 133 bushel. That wasn't plowed, and it only had a single fertilization state on it, so. And it was dryland corn, so. Is this guy gonna hit us again? Stop, fool. I don't understand. Grain cart driver is psycho. Like, how do you run into this gigantic green machine? Do I have to turn on my beacon? It's because I didn't have my beacons on. That's why he didn't see me. Those beacons, they make this huge, massive machine with lights on all around. It makes it visible. So, it's a fact. This combine, you can't see it unless your beacons are on. So we're going to top off this card here, perhaps, get it kind of close. Definitely going to be in the 90%. And we'll have that guy, taking out our load to the bins, to the dryer. So even at 175, 180 bushel corn, you're going to be profitable. You know, this field really should be probably over 200 with the irrigation, but we don't have soil mods, so there's no way we can kind of keep track of the moisture in the field and in the crop, kind of like we used to in 15. All right, so that guy's 95% full, which is great. And then he's going to drive back to the farm, to the dryer. Our yield in our bean field, our big bean field, came out to around 74 bushel, 75 bushel an acre, which is a really good yield for beans, I think, especially over that 300 acres or whatever it was. 285, 290, I think. Yep, this is irrigated corn. Our pivot is, well, you can't see it. We had to move it out of the way, but this has a large pivot in it. So, this is irrigated. And then this was also chisel plowed, so it's got everything going for it. We don't have to worry about any fungicide or any pesticides or any any fungus, insects or weeds. So the yield should be pretty darn good here. Our tractor is in traffic. Mother of God, Jake. Do you ever have those moments when your muscle memory fails you? I just tried to engage the GPS and I hit the Control 3 instead of Control W. My muscle memory is fatigued. Too bad you can't play like country music and stuff, when you're recording, because YouTube slaps it with a copyright. And then your video has no sound. What's going on, Iowa? We are just harvesting some irrigated corn here. It's our last field of the season. So home stretch. It's interesting that I've been streaming for almost 2.5 hours already. Doesn't seem like it. We spent like the first hour and a half listening to the FarmCon stream. And seeing what kind of updates there are to FS 19. While they were doing the competition. How many acres do I have left in this field? Hard to say. It's a 160-acre field. We've probably taken off 30 acres, so we probably got another 130 or so to go. Between the headlands and these couple passes, maybe a little bit more than that. I feel like, I don't know, maybe anywhere between 25 and 40 acres we probably harvested. We've been going for 2 hours and 20 minutes, so maybe a little bit more than that. Hard to say. I'm gonna live stream till I get the field done. I'm not sure I'm gonna last that long, but who knows? I'm sure we got another 3 hours at least of harvesting in this field, so I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do that. I don't think I want to do that. It's gonna be a skeleton sitting at the chair here. It won't take me a week to do this field, are you kidding me? some breakdowns or something. You know what would be interesting? They're saying there's gonna like be birds and stuff that follow your plow and cultivator. What if there's like pheasants and deer that ran out when you were harvesting? Think about it. So one thing I found interesting is the guy, I think he's like part of the marketing or something. Not the head of marketing, but anyways, they were talking about the Seasons mod and how it was game changing, how many people liked it, but then he kind of had to like, you know, stick his head in there and say, you know, there's a lot of people that just kind of want to play the game and they didn't like Seasons mod because it made it more difficult. So that kind of shows me where the direction of this game is going. And I definitely think it's because of the console players that really kind of destroyed any opportunity for this game to get a little bit more realistic here. The fact that he said there's a lot of people that didn't like that realistic way for farming, because they don't want to think, they just want to play the game, which is really disappointing. But they're also changing the difficulty, because right now the difference between easy and hard, it makes no sense. It's like you start off with more money or something like that, or less loans. It's pretty stupid. I've been playing on hard ever since 13. It doesn't make it more harder or anything. But now it's gonna be, you start out with different. You're gonna, you'll start off with different equipment, different amount of land, I'm sure, different, state of equipment. So it will actually be a little bit more difficult. Maybe, maybe the yields will be the same. I don't know. I think with difficulty, the yield rate changes as well, as do the prices, but so it looks like we got quite a bit of snow coming in the next, this week. 2 snowy days. Ground's probably going to start to freeze here over the next 2 days. Jake, you're such a troll. Jake from State Farm. Got your khakis and your khakis. Yep. $22 viewers, rookie numbers. True story. People are probably still sleeping around at church. It's 10:26 here. You know, for having over 19,000 subscribers, you'd think I'd have a little bit more views on the live streams, but what can you do? Maybe I don't have my live stream notifications set up properly. I don't know if I have to do anything for that, but seems like I should have more, don't you think? Yeah, ever since Jake came in the chat, the views have gone down. We were at 30. Jake. There goes that theory. So the yield in this field probably won't be as good, because I mean our irrigation unit took out quite a bit of crop here with the wheels, but not too bad. get some yard lights over there, some automatic yard lights. That's what I need. Right now, the kind of the floodlights on the sheds, those are a manual switch. I kind of want to switch those over to automatic night light, so I don't have to always turn those on and off. This guy better hurry his ass up. There's no way he's gonna be able to. He's not gonna be able to empty us out all the way. I think he can only hold 38,000 liters, and we're gonna be already at 3940. So it's definitely gonna be more left in the tank here. But you can kind of see right here. This is where our irrigation tire, you know. Those aren't small tires, they take out a lot of crop, but the fact that, you know, we don't have to fertilize this field, I think we'd take out a lot more crop if we had to run our sprayer through here. That's one of the things I miss, is we don't have to use our sprayer, you know, really at all, like we used to back in 15, because we don't have to really worry about the nutrients, we don't have to worry about the moisture, we don't have to worry about weeds, so. Green River, never heard of it. So our grain cart's full again. wonder where our cart driver's going. And we should make sure our semi's empty. He's not empty, so it's a good thing we did that. Yield seems to be pretty good. Taking a lot of carts out of the field here. A lot of full carts. Carts in traffic again, apparently. Alright, folks. I've been streaming for like 3 hours, so once I get down to this last little strip here, I'm gonna call it a day for this live stream. Take a break, mate. Be on later. Maybe not. May end up doing a little bit of modding today instead, so. Let's go over to our truck. Let's empty out this corn. Let's kind of get a live update of our bushels. So we ended up with only 20,000 bushels in beans for the season, which isn't bad. That's going to be, 15, 20 trucks to sell those. And we have a lot of corn left to go here. So we might get over the 40,000, 45, 50,000 bushel in our corn, but I guess we'll have to wait and see here. Anyways, thanks for watching.